Wow. I want y'all to listen very, very carefully here. As far as I'm concerned, this season is Super Bowl or bust. If the Eagles don't win the Super Bowl this year, both Nick Sirrianni and Kevin Patullo need to be shown the door ASAP. What's going on, everybody? Spunky Nights 91 coming guys another video. Come at you guys with my Eagles Commanders post-game recap. So the Eagles lose to the Washington Commanders 24-17. The Eagles had a shot to win the number 2 seed in the NFC playoffs. They needed for the Chicago Bears to lose their final 2 games, which they did. Eagles win their final 2 games, which they could have, and the Eagles would have been the number 2 seed in the NFC playoffs. But instead, Nick Sirrianni decides to rest the starters the last game of the season. And as a result, the Eagles lose. And I remember going to this game, there was some Eagle fans so cocky and so full of themselves, talking about, oh, we're going up against Josh Johnson of the Washington Commanders. There's no way we can lose. When are you people gonna learn? When are you people gonna learn? There is no guarantee in the NFL. There is no guarantee. Stop getting cocky. There is no guarantee of anything in the NFL. Any given Sunday, any team can be any team. This is the division rival who would love nothing more but to play spoiler for us. You can't sit there and just automatically say, oh, because we're going up against this person, we're going to win this game automatically. I don't get that mindset. Like, y'all literally defending the decision by Nick Sirrianni to rest the starters because you feel like, oh, we're just going up against the Washington Commanders. They suck. Who gives a damn they suck? The starters should have been playing this game. Not just because of what was on the line, but also they need the reps. This offense, last week against the Buffalo Bills, literally only put up 17 yards in the second half. Put up no points in the second half. Jalen Hurts was 0 for 7. Super conservative play calling. This team needs to play the starters at least the first half. I don't give a damn what anybody says. Nobody is gonna convince me that it was the right decision not to play the starters in this game. And then I hear the bullshit from some fans about, oh, well, what would you have been saying if a player went out there got hurt? It's freaking football. Players get hurt all the time. When they put on their helmet and they put on their shoulder pads, they are risking injury all the time. Would they have sucked if a player got hurt? Absolutely. But it's football. We know, the players know the risks that come with putting a damn shoulder pads on. I'm sorry, but that is a lame-ass excuse of why you don't play your starters. If this was a game where nothing was on the line, the Eagles were looking very good, absolutely. Rest the starters. But when you have a chance to be the number 2 seed in the NFC playoffs, you play your starters. At least that first half. I don't get this logic from some Eagle fans. I don't get this shit. I don't get this logic. Oh, we should not risk players potentially getting hurt out there. When the damn number 2 playoff seed in the NFC is on the line, you play the starters. I don't get this shit. And then to watch this clown, Nick Sirrianni, in the press conference, defending his decision not to play the starters. I'll tell you right now, Nick Sirrianni, you're digging your own grave. You're digging your own grave. And I saw some Eagle fans also go on about how, oh, why are you so mad at Nick Sirrianni? Why are you not mad at Kevin Patullo? I've been on here all year saying that Kevin Patullo needs to go. But guess what, people? Guess what? Guess what? Use your brain. Why do you think Kevin Patullo is still in his position? Why? Because his best friend, well, maybe not best friend, but his friend Nick Sirianni refuses to fire him. Refuses to fire him. Sorry about that, guys. I'm getting a call interrupting my my video here. But yes, back to what I was saying. Y'all talk about wanting to fire Kevin Patullo, and I absolutely agree with you on that. But again, Nick Sirianni is the one that hired Kevin Patullo. Nick Sirianni is the one that refuses to fire Kevin Patullo. So I don't care who agrees with this. I don't care. I don't care. I'm gonna say it again. This is Super Bowl or bust. If the Eagles don't win the Super Bowl, Nick Sirianni ass can go. If you think that Nick Sirianni, because he won a Super Bowl last year, his job is 100% safe and that no, he should not be fired, well, we fired the first coach to win a Super Bowl for us, in Doug Peterson. So Nick Sirianni is very expendable. Like, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I've never been the biggest Nick Sirianni fan. I've always felt like at times this team won in spite of him. I don't think he's a good coach. I never thought he was a good coach. I thought he was just more like a cheerleader on that sideline, if anything. And his clownish antics, like when he was sitting there mouthing off the Bill fans last week, when we just got out of there with a damn win against the Bills, he sit here running his mouth and talking all this crap. Like, Nick Sirianni is a freaking clown. I've never been a Nick Sirianni fan. And he continues to give me more and more reason why I want him gone. I'm sorry, man. It's complete bullshit not to play your starters in a game where the number 2 seed in the NFC players is online. If you had won the number 2 seed, you would be guaranteed home field advantage as long as that number 1 seed got knocked out of the playoffs, which happened last year, by the way. The Eagles were the number 2 seed in the playoffs last year. The number 1 seed, which was the Detroit Lions, got bounced out in the divisional round against the Washington Commanders. The Eagles were effectively became the number 1 seed when Detroit got knocked out. So the Eagles had home field advantage throughout the playoffs. I don't get this freaking logic. I just don't get it. Where y'all just y'all want to sit here and say, oh, we would have really. What would you have said if if a player had gotten hurt out there? It's football. It's football. You take a chance every time you play a game. This was a meaningful game. You play starters in meaningful games. We literally handed the Bears the number 2 seed. The Detroit Lions literally did us a huge favor and beat the damn Chicago Bears. All we had to do was win this game. And there's something else I want to say. Something else I want to say here. Because I see this shit on Facebook right now. There's some Eagle fans who are gloating about, Taylor McKee struggling today. I don't get that. I don't get that. Like, it was to the detriment of the team, and you're gloating about this. I don't get this shit. Like, there were some Eagle fans who throughout the season were calling for Jalen Hurts to be benched, and they were calling for Taylor McKee to get the starting job. And, I wasn't one of those Eagle fans. I wasn't one of those Eagle fans calling for Jalen Hurts to get benched. That was not me. I had never gotten to that point. I was definitely not at that point. But this tribalism that we see around quarterbacks, we saw it between it started off between Nick Foles and Carson Wentz. They had these tribalism around them, basically like a code of personality. And then it became Carson Wentz versus Jalen Hurts. This whole tribalism, you have some fans on this side, you have some fans on that side. And when that quarterback struggles, the other side talks smack. The other side, the other side, goes at that side. And when that quarterback plays well, one side is going after the fans who were talking smack on the quarterback. I don't get the tribalism. I don't care who was on the center for the Eagles. I don't give a damn. I don't care if it was Barney the Purple Dinosaur. All I care is about the Philadelphia Eagles winning. That's all I care about. I don't give a damn if it's Carson Wentz, if it's Jalen Hurts. I don't give a damn if it's Tanner McKee. I don't give a damn who is starting quarterback for the Eagles. All I care about is the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's I care about winning. I don't get this tribalism bullshit. You're sitting here making these damn posts on Facebook, gloating over this, as if even though it was to the detriment of the team. I don't get this. The team always comes first for me. I want every quarterback that's playing for the behind center for the Philadelphia Eagles to succeed, because I want the Eagles to succeed. The tribalism is so freaking stupid. It is stupid. It is beyond stupid. But again, this goes back to Nick Sirianni for me. Tanner McKee should not have been on that field playing to begin with. He should not have been starting today. I don't know why Nick Sirianni made this stupid ass decision that he made. Like, he loves the rest of these starters in the last game of the season. He does it all the time. He doesn't like to play the starters at all during the preseason. And quite frankly, seeing what this offense looked like all season, maybe they should have played the preseason. He doesn't like to play them at least one series at all during the preseason. And like I said, the last game of the season, he don't like to play them at all. And normally, I'm okay with that. As long as when it really matters, this team is out there playing their ass off, I don't have nothing to say. As long as when it really matters during the regular season and the playoffs, obviously, as long as they're playing their best football, then that's all I care about. But this team has not played their best football all season. They have been awful all season. A lot of that blame goes to Kevin Patullo, no doubt about it. But it also goes to execution by the players on offense. But this game had a lot of meaning to it, even though it was the last game of the season. Even though Washington was not, they were not playing for anything other than pride. This game had a lot of meaning to it for the Eagles. And I told these Eagle fans, don't get cocky. Don't sit here and say, oh, because we're playing the Washington Commanders and Joe Johnson. I think Joe Johnson, or I think his name's Joe Johnson. Anyway, and because Johnson, this is their starting quarterback, that this gonna be an easy cakewalk victory. No, I don't like that. I don't like that cocky mindset. I really don't. I don't understand why any Eagle fan is feeling cocky at this point. Like, what have you seen with this Eagles team all season that gives you a reason to be overconfident about anything? I don't get it. Like, this team has been a mess all season, and if you ask me, how confident I feel about this team going to the playoffs, I'm not confident at all. The Eagles still do get a playoff game because we won our division, but we got the 49ers coming to town, and quite frankly, I would not be surprised one bit. I definitely would not be surprised one bit if the 49ers come to Philadelphia and they beat the Eagles. The last time they came to Philadelphia, 2023 season, they beat us. So yeah, and the quarterback, his name is Josh Johnson. I said Joe Johnson, Josh Johnson. So yeah, I won't be shocked one bit if the 49ers come to Philadelphia and beat the Eagles. And if that happens, if the Eagles don't go on this magical run where the offense is, when it comes down to it, the offense was saving their best for the playoffs. They don't come ready to play and ball out throughout the playoffs. Then Nick Sirianni, Cam Patullo, both of them can go as far as I'm concerned, because there's way too much talent on this offense. There's way too much money being paid to these players on this offense for this offense to continue to look like hot garbage like they've looked all season. And for Nick Sirianni to continue to be stubborn and want to keep his friends employed instead of doing the right thing and moving on from, when something not working, moving on from it, he's digging his own grave as far as I'm concerned. He is digging his own grave. And I, as an Eagles fan, it really annoys me when I see all the talent that we have on this team, and for this team to just look like trash week in and week out. It's so freaking annoying. Like, I look at these offenses that are putting up, 25 plus points a game, looking very efficient throughout the game. I get very envious of that, because that's what our offense should look like with all this talent. Defense, Vic Fangio doing his thing. I don't have much of anything negative to say about Vic Fangio. Today he was working with these damn third string, players. Speaking of third string players, Keely Ringo, you pass interference. Keely Ringo, I told you guys this already. I tried to be patient with Keely Ringo, but Keely Ringo, he sucks. Like, Keely Ringo could go. Like, he definitely needs to be gone this offseason. Like, I'm done with Keely Ringo. This was an opportunity for him to go out there and do something. But Keely Ringo, it's just not going to work with him in Philadelphia. Maybe he might go somewhere else and play very well, and if he does, hey, good for him. But the Keely Ringo experience in Philadelphia, it needs to end this offseason. I'm seeing enough of him. But yeah, this Eagles defense, this third, fourth string defense that was playing some second strings as well, yeah, it wasn't good. It was not good. The Washington, they moved the ball down the field pretty successfully against this third string, fourth string Eagles defense. But like I said, man, it was just frustrating. It was frustrating. The Eagles did not sweep anybody in the NFC East this year. They finished the season out 3-3 in the NFC East. They win the NFC East because the NFC East was just awful this season. So the Eagles finished the season 3-3 in the NFC East. They could have swept. They could have swept Washington, but they obviously didn't give a damn about this game. Even though this game has so much importance to it, they did not give a damn. Well, Nick Sirianni didn't give a damn. But yeah, I stand by what I said, man. I know some Eagle fans are probably gonna come at me say I'm overreacting. They're gonna say, there might be some of the fake fan type of crap you get sometimes. I don't care. No, I don't care. This is not an overreaction. This is not an overreaction. Nick Sirianni not playing the starters in the game with the number 2 seed was on the line, where the offense has struggled all season. They need some more reps going to the playoffs, just to give us some more of an ease of mind. For him not to play the starters this game was complete bullshit. I'm not taking that back. It was complete bullshit. The only thing that will redeem Nick Sirianni in my eyes is that the Eagles go on this magical playoff run and they go to Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara and they win a Super Bowl. That is literally the only thing right now at this point that can redeem Nick Sirianni in my eyes. Like, I've never been the biggest Nick Sirianni fan. I've always thought he was a doofus. I always thought he was a clown. And and stuff like this is it just continues to validate why my feelings about him from the very beginning. Like, obviously he's the head coach, so I had no choice but to hope for the best for him as the head coach. But like I said, I just never been on a Nick Sirianni train, and he has continued to give me more and more reasons not to be on a Nick Sirianni train. I don't think he's a good coach. I really honestly don't know what the hell this guy really does. I think he's truly in over his head. We say the same thing about Cam Patullo, and I continue to feel the same way about Cam Patullo. This whole coaching staff has failed us all season, and sadly, I think they're going to fail us in the playoffs. As it stands right now, this team is set to fail us in the playoffs. And if that's the case, Nick Sirianni has to go. Cam Patullo has to go. So all these people saying, oh, you should be mad at Cam Patullo should be fired. I agree with you, Cam Patullo should be fired. I've been saying it all year. But to sit here and say that Cam Patullo needs to be fired, but Nick Sirianni doesn't, I don't agree with that. Nick Sirianni is the one that has kept Cam Patullo employed for as long as he's been employed. So Cam Patullo, like I said, he would not have a job if it wasn't for Nick Sirianni continuing to not fire him. So if Nick Sirianni wants to continue to be stubborn, then hey, continue to be stubborn. But when the Eagles flop in the playoffs, which I don't want them to do, but that's where it appears that we're heading. But no, they flop in the playoffs. You dug your own grave. You stuck by it. You stuck by your decision. Well, your decision is gonna land you in unemployment this offseason, God willing. Fingers crossed. Congratulations to the Bears fans. Even though you guys lost the last 2 games, you obviously gonna be a number 2 seed in the playoffs. Congratulations to y'all. I'm irritated with my team. I'm irritated with my coaches for the bad play calling on offense. the shitty ass damn decision not to play the stars this game. I'm just irritated. And the only thing at this point, like I said already, the only thing at this point that will ease some of the frustration I have is the Eagles go on to win the Super Bowl 60. Do I see that happening? Hell no. I don't see this as a Super Bowl winning team. I just don't. We are the defending Super Bowl champions, obviously, but I just don't see this as a Super Bowl winning team. That defense, that starting defense, absolutely. That is a Super Bowl caliber defense, which frustrates me even more because you have this great defense right now that is holding opponents below, 15 points a game, below that. But they have an offense that does not show up and do its job. That does not put the points up, take advantage of the opportunities that the defense continues to give them. This starting offense did not earn the week off. They did not. They did not earn the right to not play in this game. They needed all the freaking reps going to the playoffs that they can get. And that frustrates the hell out of me about Nick Sirrianni. It's okay it's okay to bench starters when, like I said earlier, when there's nothing meaningful to play for and the offenses look very efficient throughout the season. But when that offense is struggling, like they've been doing all season, you play them in that game. And we had more, like I said, we had more incentive because of that number 2 seed. Literally, like that number 2 seed would have almost guaranteed us home field advantage. Unless the Seahawks made a playoff run. If the Seahawks got bounced out in the first round, the Eagles would have had home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Now we're guaranteed one home game because we won the division. But after that, being the 3rd seed, that's where we're at now. The 3rd seed, we have to hope that number 1 and number 2 seed, the Seahawks and the Bears, get bounced out of the playoffs early. Otherwise we're going on the road in the playoffs, and I don't like it one bit. So yeah, everybody with the tribalism, this tribalism shit, man, it's just ridiculous. I don't give a damn who the Eagles starting quarterback is. I was never calling for Tam McKee to be the Eagles starting quarterback, but I was rooting for this guy to play well in this game because obviously we needed him to get us a win, and we needed the Lions to beat the Bears. The Lions did their job, but we didn't do our job. Tanner McKee was thrown into a situation with high pressure on it that he was not ready for, and Nick Sirianni should be ashamed of himself for putting Tanner McKee in that position. He should be ashamed of himself, but he clearly is not. He still sits there like a doofus at the post game press conference defending his decision not to start Jalen Hurts and the starters in this game. And like I said, he's digging his own grave as far as I'm concerned. He is digging his own grave. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this thing up. I really don't have much more to say. I'm just frustrated. I have my playoff game post video ready for you. Preview ready for you guys later this week. But I'm out of here. Go Birds. Peace.
That's all, folks.